listen closely, because this moment is not ordinary. You did not wander here by accident. Something deeper than curiosity led you. Something wiser than coincidence guided you. Your spirit recognized a voice it has been longing to hear, and your heart felt the tug before your mind could understand why. There is a message moving toward you right now, not as noise, not as random encouragement, but as a divine appointment wrapped in words. And if you've been feeling quiet lately, if you've been pulled into silence, if you've stepped back while the world kept running, this is for you. For a long time, you've carried things inside you that no one truly saw. You've held tears behind smiles, strength beneath exhaustion, and faith beneath uncertainty. There were nights where heaven felt distant and mornings where purpose felt blurry. Yet even in your quietest moments, there was something sacred happening. Not everyone noticed, not everyone understood, but heaven did. There is a holy weight resting on your life, a rare significance, a purpose that does not mirror the ordinary paths of those around you. And sometimes the ones with the greatest assignments walk through the deepest silences. Sometimes the most chosen journeys are walked in shadows before they ever see the spotlight. You may have thought your silence meant nothing was happening. But that is not the truth. Your silence was not failure. Your silence was not abandonment. Your silence was not emptiness. Your silence was preparation. There are things being aligned for you, doors being shaped, not just opened, relationships being repositioned, strength being formed in places weakness once lived. That quiet season you endured, it was not wasted. It was working something eternal into you. Heaven has been moving in the background in ways you couldn't measure and in places you couldn't see. Right now you are standing at the edge of an unfolding moment. Something is shifting. Something is stabilizing. Something is about to make sense that never has before. This message is your confirmation that everything you endured in silence mattered. It carried purpose. It carried destiny. It carried divine intention. And what has been hidden in stillness is about to receive heavenly movement. Stay with me, because what you are about to hear next will reveal why God allowed the silence, what was happening during it, and what is about to break open in your life. The quiet season was never the ending. It was the construction. And now, heaven is ready to speak, and as we stand in this moment together, breathing in the quiet truth that your silence carried purpose, I want you to understand something even deeper. This message is not emerging from human insight or motivational comfort. It is not simply encouragement formed from imagination. What is being spoken over you has been stirred in the realm of the unseen, breathed from a place higher than your worries, your doubts, or your past experiences. This is a divine echo reaching toward you, a whisper heaven has been waiting for you to finally be still enough to hear. There are seasons when God chooses noise, and there are seasons when God chooses silence. Not because he has nothing to say, but because he is saying something deeper than words. During those quiet seasons, heaven does not retreat. Heaven leans closer. While others may have assumed your stillness meant weakness, God knew it meant readiness. While people may have misunderstood your distance, heaven understood your development. This message carries the weight of divine intention. It didn't just appear in your timeline. It didn't just happen to cross your path. There is a spiritual orchestration in motion, aligning timing, aligning encounters, aligning words that meet you at the exact emotional and spiritual temperature of your life. God has been working in silence, and now God is speaking through clarity. You have prayed prayers that never left your lips. You have cried tears that never touched your cheeks. You have fought battles no one clapped for, endured pressures No one celebrated and survived transitions nobody fully acknowledged. And yet heaven has documented every single moment. Nothing you lived through was wasted. Nothing you endured escaped divine awareness. God has been present not just in the moments when you felt powerful, but especially in the moments when you felt small. The silence you endured was not empty. It was filled with instruction, shaping healing and divine adjustment. There was a holy hand guiding you even when you felt directionless. There was wisdom forming within you even when life felt confusing. There was purpose restructuring itself inside you, even when everything felt paused. And now, as this message pours into your life, God is not just reminding you that He was working. He is preparing you for what is coming next. Something intentional, something meaningful, something you were never meant to miss is approaching. This is not coincidence. This is continuation. This is not a random word. This is alignment. You have arrived at the moment where the silence begins to make sense, where heaven begins to unveil what was hidden, where the unseen intentions of God begin to step forward into visible reality. This is your confirmation that not only were you carried through your quiet season, but you are now being positioned for revelation. So breathe. Stay open. Stay present. Because the one who watched over you in silence is now ready to speak with clarity, direction, and purpose. And what he is about to reveal will not only explain where you have been, it will illuminate where you are about to go. So now, as this truth settles into your spirit and your breathing begins to steady with understanding, listen carefully. Because this is where the unveiling begins. This is where heaven leans closer, where mystery starts loosening its grip, and where the silent pieces of your journey begin to connect into something unmistakably divine. The truth is this: what felt like absence was actually alignment. What looked like nothing happening was God rebuilding the foundation under your life. Heaven has not been silent because you were forgotten. Heaven has been silent because something sacred was being constructed with precision, and some miracles require quiet environments to form. During your silent season, things were shifting in realms you could not see. Prayers you prayed years ago began echoing again in God's timing. Battles that should have broken you instead strengthened your discernment. Relationships that no longer served your destiny were quietly loosened from your path. Opportunities that seemed delayed were in truth being upgraded, evaluated, and prepared at a level you could only step into when you were healed enough to hold them. You didn't lose time. You were preserved for the right time. There has been divine work happening beneath the surface, like roots expanding beneath soil, long before any fruit appears above ground. Just because it wasn't visible didn't mean it wasn't alive. Just because it wasn't loud didn't mean it wasn't powerful. God has been strengthening what could not be rushed, healing wounds you didn't know still existed, resetting your identity, purifying motives, and preparing your spirit to carry greater weight without collapsing under it. And now the season is shifting. You are approaching a moment of unveiling. You are nearing a release point. The silence has been the prelude, not the conclusion. The quiet space has been the holy workshop, the sacred transformation chamber, where destiny has been maturing instead of being rushed. And now heaven is beginning to open windows that were once sealed. Things that were still are beginning to stir. Areas that felt stagnant are about to awaken with movement. There is a breakthrough forming, and it carries your name. You are stepping toward clarity where confusion once lived. You are stepping toward opportunities that will feel almost surreal because of how long you waited. You are stepping toward divine connections, spiritual alignment, emotional restoration, and external evidence of what God has been doing internally. This is not empty reassurance. This is divine timing approaching manifestation. But here is the breathtaking part. The blessing isn't just what is coming to you. The blessing is also what has already been happening within you. You are not the same person who entered this silent season. You are stronger, wiser, softer in the right ways, and firmer in the places that once wavered. You've shed illusions. You've grown depth. You've developed a closeness to God that only silence can birth. The prophecy is not only that God was working. The prophecy is that heaven is now preparing to reveal the evidence. Things will begin aligning in ways that feel too intentional to be coincidence. Doors will appear that seem almost custom-shaped for your life. Conversations will lead to breakthroughs that once felt impossible. Your spirit will sense movement before your eyes fully register it. You'll feel the subtle shift inside you, first an inner knowing, a quiet excitement, a peace that feels heavier than fear. Your silent season prepared you to recognize divine timing without doubting it. So don't be surprised when clarity starts replacing questions. Don't be shocked when peace starts replacing anxiety. Don't hesitate when you feel God nudging you forward. You have been carefully readied for what is approaching. What was once hidden is moving toward unveiling. What was once still is beginning to stir with holy activity. And all along, heaven has known exactly where you were, exactly what you needed, and exactly when the revealing would begin. Stay with this message. There is more to understand, more to uncover, more to prepare your spirit for. Because the next part of this revelation will take you deeper into the meaning behind this season and why God chose you to walk through it the way you did, and what it truly means for your destiny from here. Let's keep going. And as this unveiling settles into your awareness, let your heart travel deeper, because what happened to you in silence was not only circumstantial, it was spiritual. It was not simply life becoming quiet. It was God bringing your soul into a sacred classroom where the lessons were not spoken through lectures, but through stillness, waiting, and unseen transformation. That kind of growth cannot be rushed, measured, or easily explained. It is formed beneath the surface like a seed buried in soil where no human eye can see its progress. Yet heaven watches every millimeter of its becoming. Silence has always been one of God's oldest sanctuaries. Before creation burst into sound, there was stillness. Before destiny takes shape, there is a pause. Before great revelation, God often leads his people through a corridor where familiar noise fades so new awareness can be born. Not to isolate you from the world, but to insulate what he is developing in you. Your silence was a womb, not a void. It was where identity healed, faith matured, and purpose grew sturdy roots. You didn't just wait, you were being prepared for wait. In that quiet place, God was stripping away false narratives you once believed about yourself. Layers of fear, doubt, comparison, and unworthiness were being dismantled not through loud correction, but through holy rest. Sometimes God does his greatest surgeries without sound, so the healing is deep, clean, and lasting. You began learning the language of stillness, the wisdom of patience, and the strength of surrender. These are not small lessons, they are spiritual armor. Your faith was being distilled from emotional reaction into spiritual conviction. Your trust was being refined from hope-wishing into anchored certainty. Your dependence on God was shifting from occasional to essential. This is what divine timing truly looks like, not just receiving something at the right moment, but becoming the right person before that moment arrives. God was blessing you by withholding prematurely what he intends to give fully and securely. Because blessings given too soon become burdens. Platforms without grounding become prisons. Opportunities without healing become traps. So the silence was not denial. It was divine responsibility. Heaven was safeguarding your destiny until you could carry it without losing yourself. And beneath all of this, something else was happening. Your spirit was learning to hear differently. When noise is gone, you begin to sense what you once overlooked. You start noticing subtle, leading, quiet peace, gentle corrections, and inner nudges that are easy to miss when life is too loud. You are being trained to hear God not only in miracles, but in whispers. Not only in breakthroughs, but in breaths. That is spiritual maturity, when God no longer needs to shake your world to get your attention, because your heart has become attentive even in calm. There is also a sacred purification that comes through silence. Old seasons fell away, old identities expired, old fears lost their grip because they no longer had the fuel of chaos to feed them. You were not losing yourself. You were becoming yourself in a purer, truer, heaven-shaped way. Like gold refined in quiet heat, your spirit was being clarified. Your desires became cleaner. Your motives became more aligned. And your relationship with God shifted from needing constant reassurance to resting in trust. Think of storms and seasons. Winter looks barren, silent, lifeless, yet nature knows it is a season of preparation. Roots deepen, systems strengthen. The hidden world beneath the soil is alive with restructuring. Then when spring comes, the world doesn't create life. It reveals what has been growing invisibly. Your silent season has been that winter preparation, not punishment, not abandonment. It was divine wintering. So that when the unfolding arrives, you are not fragile bloom, but deeply rooted strength. And the most beautiful truth woven through all of this is that you were never alone in it. Silence did not mean God was far. Silence meant God was working in a way beyond what words could hold. God was closer than ever in those quiet nights, in those uncertain prayers, in those moments where your only strength was to breathe and keep going. Heaven was leaning over you. Angels were guarding you. Purpose was surrounding you. Even when you felt still, everything around you spiritually was in motion. So when you look back at this season, don't see emptiness. See sacred development. See divine craftsmanship. See a loving God who cared too deeply to rush you into something you weren't ready to receive yet. This was love disguised as silence, protection disguised as pause, preparation disguised as stillness. And now that understanding is opening something inside you is already different. Peace is replacing confusion. Reverence is replacing frustration. Gratitude is emerging where doubt once stood. Because now you see, this wasn't wasted time. This wasn't delay. And this wasn't stagnation. This was holy timing, doing holy work. From here forward, you will carry a deeper calm, a wiser spirit, a quieter confidence. Not the noise of trying to prove yourself, but the stability of knowing God has been shaping you intentionally. And as this revelation settles, the next part of this journey will show you how heaven confirms what has been unfolding and the real-world signs that begin appearing when a silent season is coming to its divine turning point. Stay close. There is more heaven wants to show you. And now that your spirit has begun to recognize the depth of what has truly been happening within you, it's important to understand how heaven begins to confirm when a silent season is nearing its divine turning point. Because God does not simply prepare you inwardly and leave you guessing outwardly. When something is shifting spiritually, life begins to echo it subtly and profoundly. Signs begin to surface. Not always dramatic, but deeply resonant, personal, and undeniable. One of the first signs is the quiet return of peace, where anxiety once ruled. It won't always arrive with fireworks or grand announcements. Sometimes it comes gently, like a steady warmth settling into your chest. You'll notice you worry less about what you cannot control. You panic less about timing. You feel an inner steadiness replacing the restlessness that used to consume you. It is not indifference, it is trust. a holy calm begins to sit where frantic questions used to live. That peace is not random. It is a divine signal something is aligning. Another sign is the resurfacing of dreams and desires you thought had died. Ideas that once felt impossible suddenly feel alive again. Vision returns. Passion flickers back on. Things you laid to rest because they felt too delayed start stirring in your spirit like embers catching wind. This is not nostalgia. This is resurrection. God breathes on what had done, what he intends to fulfill, and you begin sensing, maybe it's not over. Maybe this promise still lives. That stirring is heavenly confirmation. You will also start noticing subtle but consistent shifts around you. Certain relationships begin fading peacefully, without conflict, making emotional room for new alignments. Connections that drained you lose their hold. Meanwhile, unexpected conversations with people who support your growth begin appearing organically. Divine alignment doesn't scream, it arranges. Suddenly, you find yourself in conversation spaces and opportunities that feel strangely purposeful. That is not coincidence. That is orchestration. Another sign appears in your discernment. You begin sensing when something is no longer right for you, even if it looks good. Your spirit becomes sharper, clearer, less easily swayed. Where you once over-explained, now you simply understand. Where you once begged for clarity, now wisdom rises naturally. You begin feeling guided, even when you cannot logically map every step. That inner clarity is heavenly leadership. And then there's the unmistakable sign, an internal knowing. You can't logically justify, but cannot deny. Something in you whispers, change is near. You cannot point to one specific event, yet everything in your spirit feels pregnant with anticipation. It's like standing at the edge of a horizon and sensing the sunrise before you see the first light. That knowing is heaven's voice speaking without sound. Sometimes there will even be external confirmations, unexpected blessings open doors, timely encouragements, words spoken by others that echo exactly what your spirit already sensed. Little reminders that God sees you. Gentle hints that heaven has not forgotten your journey. These are divine breadcrumbs guiding you forward. If you've been noticing these things, you are not imagining it. These are signs that your silent season is not only acknowledged by heaven, it is nearing transformation. And while these confirmations bring hope, they also prepare you, because every divine unveiling is preceded by refinement, and every breakthrough comes with its own unseen challenges to navigate before fulfillment fully settles in. So let's walk there together. And as these confirmations begin to surface, there is something important you must understand before transformation fully unfolds. There is often a stretch of unseen challenges that appear not as punishment, but as preparation's final refinement. Heaven never releases a promise without also strengthening the vessel that will carry it. So do not be surprised if right before breakthrough, life feels strangely pressured, sensitive, or tested. One of these hidden challenges is emotional stretching. You may find yourself revisiting old feelings, old insecurities, or old wounds, not because you are going backward, but because God is healing what cannot be carried forward. Sometimes the heart must release what it has held too tightly. Sometimes the spirit must confront what it once suppressed. This stretching can feel uncomfortable, but it is holy surgery. It is God removing splinters before giving you something greater to hold. Another challenge often comes in the form of waiting that feels sudden again. Right when you sense movement, life may pause unexpectedly. Things may slow down. Opportunities may seem to hesitate. This pause is not delay, it is precision. God steadies what he is about to elevate. He teaches your spirit not to panic when timing seems fragile. It is training in trust, teaching you to remain grounded when momentum wavers, to anchor in faith instead of anxiety. There may also be relational shifts that sting more than expected. People you once depended on may pull away. Familiar connections may no longer feel aligned. Sometimes God removes applause so you learn to stand without it. Sometimes He closes doors not out of cruelty, but because the next version of your life requires a different atmosphere. Separation hurts, but it also protects. It keeps you from dragging compromised loyalty into sacred spaces. Another subtle challenge is spiritual opposition. When light advances, resistance notices. You may feel moments of heaviness, strange discouragement, sudden doubt, or unexpected weariness. This does not mean you are weak. It means you are valuable. It means what is coming matters. The enemy only pressures what has purpose. But remember this: whatever presses you cannot overpower what God has already covered. Then there is the challenge inside yourself, the hesitation to rise. You may question if you're ready. You may feel unqualified, undeserving, or uncertain. But this hesitation is not truth. It is simply your old identity reacting to your new calling. Growth always feels unfamiliar. Destiny always feels larger than comfort. These challenges are refining, not defeating. They are shaping, not shattering. They are strengthening, not stopping you. Every pressure has purpose. Every tension has intention. Every test carries divine meaning. God is not trying to break you. He is fortifying you. He is sealing your foundation, so when blessing arrives, you are stable enough to hold it, without collapsing emotionally, spiritually, or mentally. So when discomfort appears, breathe. When old feelings resurface, recognize healing is happening. When waiting lingers, trust preparation. When resistance rises, remember you are protected. These challenges are not the end. They are the last shaping moments before fulfillment unfolds. And because heaven never gives warning without guidance, the next part of this message is not about fear. It is about instruction. Clear, loving, empowering direction to help you walk confidently into what God is preparing for you next. Let's step into that together. So now, with your spirit aware of the challenges and your heart steadied with understanding, lean in, even closer. Because heaven does not just prepare you emotionally or spiritually. Heaven equips you. God never brings you this far only to leave you standing unsure of what to do next. When a silent season begins to transition into unveiling, there is a way to posture your heart, your mind, and your life so you don't simply watch the promise unfold. You step confidently into it. The first instruction is to stay anchored in stillness, even as movement begins. Just because things are changing does not mean you must rush, scramble, or force outcomes. The same stillness that sustained you in silence must now guide you in transition. Move when God leads, not when anxiety pushes. Let your decisions flow from prayer, not pressure. When opportunities appear, don't panic. Don't let excitement make you careless. Breathe. Ask heaven for clarity. Let peace become your filter. If peace is absent, the door is not yours yet. The second instruction is to protect what God has been forming inside you. Not everyone deserves access to the deepest parts of your journey. Not everyone should be allowed to speak into what God is building in you. This season requires discernment. Guard your spirit from unnecessary noise. Guard your heart from negativity disguised as concern. Guard your mind from fear disguised as logic. You are not obligated to explain your transformation to those who cannot spiritually perceive it. Some things are meant to be protected until they bloom. The third instruction is to lean into prayer with greater intentionality. Prayer is not just for asking. It is alignment. It is where you receive direction. It is where your heart stays connected to heaven's rhythm. It is where you are reminded that you are not doing this alone. Pray not only for blessing, but for wisdom to carry it. Pray not only for opportunities, but for strength to steward them well. Pray not only for favor, but for humility to remain grounded while walking in it. This is not the time to drift spiritually. This is the time to draw closer. The fourth instruction is forgiveness. Yes, forgiveness. Before God ushers you into what's ahead, He often invites you to release what hurt you. Release resentment, release disappointment, release bitterness toward people who didn't see your worth, support your growth, or understand your silence. Forgiveness is not excusing what happened. It is freeing your spirit from chains that cannot go with you into the next level. Your heart must be light for destiny to feel right. Carrying emotional weight into new seasons drains what is meant to feel fulfilling. Let God heal those places. Let your spirit be unburdened. The fifth instruction is obedience, even in small things. Sometimes God will ask you to do something that feels simple, quiet, or insignificant. Do it. Respond. Honor the nudge. Trust the leading. Destiny often unfolds through subtle obedience. A conversation you nearly ignored. A step you almost delayed. A decision you almost dismissed. When God stirs your heart to move, don't second-guess every detail. Move in faith. You are not being led blindly. You are being guided by the same God who carried you through silence. The sixth instruction is to prepare practically while trusting spiritually. If God has placed something in your spirit, prepare for it. Study. Position yourself. Strengthen your discipline. Align your habits with where you are going, not where you've been. Preparation is a prophetic declaration that you believe something is coming. When heaven sees readiness, heaven responds. You are not begging for miracles, you are partnering with them. The seventh instruction is to honor your identity. Do not shrink. Do not apologize for evolving. Do not minimize what God is doing in you to make others comfortable. You are not stepping into arrogance, you are stepping into assignment. Stand in it with grace. Stand in it with humility. Stand in it with confidence born not from ego, but from knowing God's hand has been shaping you. And finally, stay grateful. Gratitude keeps your heart aligned. Gratitude keeps your spirit soft. Gratitude keeps your perspective holy. Thank God for the silence. Thank God for the struggle. Thank God for the unseen protection. Thank God for the coming fulfillment. Gratitude turns transition into worship rather than fear. These are not burdens. These are sacred instructions. These are the gentle, powerful ways heaven prepares you to walk forward without stumbling. You are not being rushed. You are being guided. You are not being overwhelmed. You are being prepared. And as these divine instructions rest in your heart, something beautiful happens. You begin to feel safe. You begin to feel ready. You begin to feel held by something greater than yourself. Because you are. And now, with instruction in your hands and peace settling in your spirit, it's time to be reminded of something deeply reassuring. You are not stepping forward alone. You are surrounded. You are covered. You are divinely protected. Let's let that truth wrap around your heart next. And as you prepare to walk forward with these instructions resting gently in your spirit, allow this truth to settle deeply within you. You are not stepping into what's ahead unguarded. You are not moving into this new unfolding with fragile protection or uncertain covering. The same God who worked in your silence is the same God who will surround you in your unveiling. You are shielded. You are watched over. You are divinely covered in ways far beyond what you can fully comprehend. There has never been a moment where heaven turned its back on you. Not in your quiet nights, not in your confusion, not in your transition. Even when you felt alone, you were never unattended. God has been standing over your story, like a watchful guardian, ensuring that what was meant to break you only strengthened you, and what was meant to delay you only shaped you. You have been carried through invisible storms that never reached you. You survived battles you didn't even know existed because protection covered what your eyes could not see. You are walking forward under divine escort. There is a spiritual hedge around your life, not weak, not temporary, not uncertain. A covering that has been built through faith, through endurance, through obedience, and through God's deep commitment to what He has placed inside you. Nothing touches you without passing through His sovereignty. Nothing reaches you without purpose. Nothing is allowed near you unless heaven has already equipped you to handle it. That truth alone should bring peace to your breathing, ease to your heart, and quiet strength to your soul. And in this next season, that protection does not decrease. It intensifies. As favor opens, God covers. As doors unfold, God surrounds. As influence grows, God strengthens your shield. Even when challenges arise, you will not face them unprepared. When resistance appears, you will not stand defenseless. When uncertainty tries to whisper fear, heaven will respond with reassurance. You will find yourself calmer than before, braver than before, more grounded than before. And it won't be because everything is easy. It'll be because you are protected, guided, and sustained. There will be times you won't know what's next. But you will know who is with you, and that will be enough. You will feel God's nearness in new ways. Subtle peace settling your thoughts, gentle strength holding your heart steady, unexpected comfort wrapping around you in moments you didn't even realize you needed it. These aren't random emotions, they are the presence of God reminding you. You are not doing this alone. And even when you cannot feel it, protection does not disappear. God does not step away because you momentarily feel uncertain. His commitment to you is not fragile. His covering is not conditional. His love is not unstable. Heaven is invested in your future, and that protection is part of the divine guarantee that what He started in you, He intends to finish. So rest. Move forward, but move forward peacefully. Walk into what's ahead, but walk in confidence. You are covered. You are guarded. You are wrapped in divine assurance. Nothing about your journey is careless. Nothing about your unfolding is unprotected. God is with you, deeply faithfully, continually. And now that your heart is reassured and your spirit is secure, it's time to glimpse what this protection is leading you toward: the transformation, fulfillment, and radiant unfolding of everything heaven has been preparing inside you all along. Let's step into that vision together. And as this assurance wraps itself around your heart and steadies your breathing, allow yourself to imagine, even for a moment, what all of this has truly been leading toward. Because God has not carried you through silence, refinement, instruction, and covering just so you could stay where you are. Everything has been moving you toward transformation, toward fulfillment, toward a season where what once existed only inside your spirit begins stepping into visible reality. There is a version of you emerging that silence has been sculpting. A wiser you, a stronger you, a more grounded, faith-secure, purpose-aware you. You. The uncertainty that once shook you no longer holds the same power. The wounds that once bled now hold wisdom instead of pain. The prayers that once sounded desperate now rise from confidence, connection, and trust. You are not the same person who entered that quiet season. Something in you has matured beautifully, deeply, sacredly. Transformation begins inside before it ever shows outside. Soon you will begin to notice that the way you react to life has shifted. Things that once overwhelmed you won't feel as heavy. Situations that used to drain you won't be allowed such access to your peace. Your boundaries will become healthier. Your discernment will sharpen. You'll no longer chase what isn't aligned with you. Instead, you'll naturally attract what resonates with who you have become. That is transformation. That is fulfillment unfolding, not just as an event, but as a way of living. And then, as inner transformation settles, the external fulfillment begins to follow. Doors will open that feel divinely timed, not rushed, not forced, simply right. Opportunities will align so smoothly that you'll know they were orchestrated, not coincidental. Healing will manifest in areas you once believed would never fully mend. Answers will come to questions that once lived unresolved inside you. Relationships will arise that support your growth, honor your heart, and align with your destiny. You will begin seeing evidence of everything God has been quietly preparing. But the most powerful fulfillment isn't in what you receive. It's in who you become in partnership with heaven. You will walk with a quieter confidence, not noisy, not boastful, not performative. Just peaceful certainty. You will stand more firmly in your worth, no longer begging for acceptance, no longer shrinking to fit spaces beneath you. Joy will no longer be fragile. Purpose will no longer feel confusing. And peace will no longer be rare. It will become your steady atmosphere. And this shift won't just bless you, it will spill outward. Your presence will carry reassurance to others. Your voice will carry wisdom born from silence and intimacy with God. Your life will become a testimony of what it means to be held protected, shaped and released in divine timing. People will sense depth in you. They will notice light in you. They won't always understand it, but they will feel it. This is fulfillment. Not perfection, not a life without challenges, but a life aligned, strengthened, guided, protected, and purpose-filled. Everything you walked through, everything you waded through, everything you cried through, everything you surrendered, it all becomes redeemed. Nothing wasted, nothing meaningless, nothing forgotten. Instead, it all transforms into strength, into wisdom, into blessing, into positioning. And in that fullness, something beautiful happens. Gratitude rises, peace deepens, faith becomes steady, hope no longer wavers. You realize that while you once resented the silence, now you honor it, because without it, you would never have become who you are stepping into now. What once felt like delay now reveals itself as design. What once felt like emptiness now reveals itself as a sacred, holy process that shaped you with love and divine intention. And with transformation unfolding and fulfillment drawing near, there is one final gift heaven wants to place into your heart. A blessing to seal this journey, to strengthen your spirit, and to leave you standing wrapped in expectation, peace, and unwavering assurance. Let's receive that together. And now, as this message gently comes to its sacred completion, allow your heart to rest for a moment in everything that has been spoken over you. You have walked through silence, through unfolding revelation, through depth instruction, assurance, and transformation. Now it is time to seal it, to breathe it in, to let it live inside you, not just as words you heard, but as truth you carry. You are stepping out of silence differently than you entered it. You are not fragile. You are not lost. You are not behind. You are rising from a divinely authored process, steadier, clearer, stronger, and deeply aligned with heaven's timing. And as you step forward, speak life over yourself. Declare truth over your journey. Remind your spirit of what heaven has already confirmed. Let these affirmations rest on your tongue and echo in your heart. Affirmation 1. I trust the timing of God over my life. Nothing was wasted. Everything was shaping me. Affirmation 2. I am covered, guided, and protected. I move forward with peace, not fear. Affirmation 3. I am becoming who I was always meant to be, and what is meant for me will meet me in God's perfect time. Affirmation 4. My silence was preparation, not abandonment. I am ready for what is unfolding. Let these truths anchor you. Let them frame your steps. Let them quiet every whisper of doubt that tries to convince you otherwise. You are not standing at the edge of emptiness. You are standing at the threshold of becoming. The God who watched over your hidden seasons is the same God who now walks beside you into what's next. So may peace fill you in moments where uncertainty tries to speak. May strength rise in you when old fears attempt to return. May clarity guide you where confusion once lived. And may your heart remain soft, steady, and deeply aware that heaven is not distant. Heaven is deeply involved in your future. I speak blessing over your journey, blessing over your mind, blessing over your heart, blessing over your calling. May every step you take be wrapped in divine purpose. May every door that opens be God-ordained. May every connection in your future be pure, supportive, aligned, and intentional. And may joy meet you more often. May peace stay longer. May hope feel natural again. You are not walking into uncertainty. You are walking into divine fulfillment. Carry this message with you. Let it live inside you. Hold your head a little higher. Breathe a little deeper. Rest a little easier. Because your silence was not wasted. God was working. And now, heaven is ready to reveal the beauty of it.